Crisps seem harmless, but for anyone over 50, dangers hide in every packet. Sky-high sodium wrecking your blood pressure. Additives banned in other countries, some of Britain's favourite crisp brands could be silently damaging your heart, kidneys and more. Today we expose 11 brands to avoid and 2 that are actually safe. Number 11. Pringles. You know the slogan, once you pop, you cannot stop. And that is exactly what the manufacturer is counting on. Pringles are not even technically crisps. They are made from a processed potato flour paste, pressed into that uniform saddle shape, fried, and then coated in flavouring powder. The texture is unnervingly consistent because there is nothing natural about it. Every single crisp is identical. That should already raise questions about what you are putting into your body. But here is where it gets worse for seniors. A single serving of Pringles Original contains around 0.5 grams of salt. That does not sound like much until you realize that the suggested serving is only about 13 crisps. Who eats just 13 Pringles? Nobody. The tube design encourages you to keep reaching in, and before you know it, you have consumed nearly your entire daily sodium allowance in one sitting. For anyone managing high blood pressure or taking heart medication, this is dangerous territory. The NHS recommends no more than 6 grams of salt daily, and a full tube of Pringles can push you dangerously close to that limit in a single snacking session. Then there is the ingredient list. Pringles contain emulsifiers, maltodextrin, and flavor enhancers like monosodium glutamate. These additives can interfere with kidney function over time, especially for seniors already dealing with reduced kidney efficiency. The British Kidney Patient Association warns that excess sodium places enormous strain on aging kidneys. Every salty snack accelerates the decline. The brand promises fun and flavor, but what it delivers is a processed product engineered to override your body's natural fullness signals. And here is something most people do not think about. That shiny coating on each crisp, it is designed to hit your tongue in a specific way, triggering dopamine release in your brain. You are not weak-willed if you cannot stop eating them. The product is literally designed to be addictive. Food scientists call this the bliss point, the precise combination of salt, fat, and flavor that makes stopping nearly impossible. For older adults trying to manage weight, cholesterol, or blood sugar, this is a trap wrapped in a cardboard tube. Isn't it strange how billion-pound snack companies keep selling products linked to health problems, yet their adverts are everywhere you look? At number 10, we have Walker's. Walker's is the best-selling crisp brand in Britain. You see Gary Lineker's face on every packet. The branding screams tradition, reliability, British heritage, but the reality behind the shiny packaging tells a different story entirely. Let us start with salt, a standard 32-gram bag of Walker's. Ready salted contains 0.46 grams of salt. That is nearly 10% of your recommended daily intake in one small packet. For seniors with hypertension, and the British Heart Foundation estimates that over half of adults over 65 have high blood pressure, this is not a harmless snack. It is a cardiovascular risk factor disguised as a treat. In 2023, a Which investigation found that many so-called family favourites, including Walker's, contain more sodium per serving than consumers expected based on front-of-pack labelling. The traffic light system was supposed to help, but many people simply do not look at it. But sodium is only part of the problem. Walker's crisps are cooked in vegetable oils, often sunflower or rapeseed. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6 is not inherently bad, the typical British diet already contains far too much of it relative to omega-3. This imbalance promotes inflammation throughout the body. For seniors dealing with arthritis, joint pain, or chronic conditions, every inflammatory food adds up. Age UK has highlighted inflammation as a contributing factor to numerous conditions that affect older adults, from heart disease to cognitive decline. Then there are the flavourings. Walker's cheese and onion, one of the nation's favourites, contains lactose, milk proteins, and a cocktail of flavour enhancers. If you are lactose intolerant, something that becomes more common as we age, you could be triggering digestive distress without even realising the source. Bloating, cramps, and discomfort are blamed on something else entirely. You might visit your GP about stomach troubles when the real culprit is sitting in your kitchen cupboard. The brand has also faced criticism for shrinkflation. Packets that used to contain more crisps now contain fewer, yet the price keeps climbing. You are paying more for less product and more air. The promise of value is quietly being broken with every reformulation. There is a solution to navigating the crisp aisle safely, but most people never learn what to look for. We will break it down at the end of the video. Now at number 9, Kettle Chips. Kettle Chips markets itself as the premium option. The packaging looks artisanal. The brand talks about hand-cooked batches, quality ingredients, and a crunchier texture. You pay more because you believe you're getting something better. But are you really? The kettle cooking process does create a different texture, yes. That thick, hard crunch feels more substantial than a standard crisp. But here is the problem. That extra crunch comes from longer frying times and higher temperatures. This increases the formation of acrylamide, a chemical compound that forms when starchy foods are cooked at high heat. The Food Standards Agency has flagged acrylamide as a potential carcinogen. Darker crisps, like the overcooked ones often found in kettle chip bags, contain the highest levels. The FSA's Go for Gold campaign specifically warns consumers to aim for golden yellow color when cooking starchy foods, not the dark brown that premium kettle chips often display with pride. For seniors, this matters more than you might think. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at processing and eliminating toxins. What might pass through a younger person's system more quickly can linger in an older body, accumulating over time. Every bag of kettle chips adds to that burden. The cumulative effect over years of snacking is something no one talks about in the adverts. Salt levels are also concerning. Kettle chips' sea salt and balsamic vinegar flavor contains 1.3 grams of salt per 100 grams. A full sharing bag could easily push you well over your daily limit. For anyone on blood pressure medication, the interaction between high sodium intake and certain drugs can reduce medication effectiveness or cause dangerous spikes. British Heart Foundation specifically warns that excess sodium can counteract the effects of ACE inhibitors and other common heart medications. Your tablets might be fighting a losing battle against your snacking habits. The artisanal branding is a marketing strategy, not a health guarantee. You are paying extra for packaging that makes you feel virtuous while consuming a product that carries real risks. Have you ever looked at the ingredients on a premium crisp packet and compared them to a budget brand? The similarities might shock you. Number 8, McCoy's. McCoy's positions itself as the man's crisp. Thick ridges, bold flavors, serious crunch. The branding is all about strength and substance, but what the adverts do not mention is what that thickness really means for your health. Those deep ridges are not just for texture, they are designed to hold more flavoring powder, and that powder is where the danger hides. McCoy's Flame Grilled Steak flavor contains a long list of additives, including yeast extract, flavor enhancers, and multiple forms of sugar. Yeast extract is essentially a hidden form of MSG. While MSG is generally recognized as safe, it can trigger headaches, flushing, and heart palpitations in sensitive individuals. For seniors already dealing with cardiovascular issues, these symptoms can be frightening and easily mistaken for something more serious. You might find yourself in A&E thinking you are having a cardiac event when the real trigger was a bag of crisps. The sodium content is also alarming. A standard grab bag contains over 0.6 grams of salt. That is more than many competitors, and the bold flavoring encourages you to keep eating. The salt hits your tongue and your brain wants more. This is not accidental. It is food engineering designed to maximize consumption. A 2022 survey by Action on Salt found that 75% of crisps sold in the UK would receive a red traffic light label for salt content. McCoy's sits firmly in that red zone. Then there is the texture itself. Those thick, hard ridges can be difficult to chew properly, especially for seniors with dental issues, dentures, or sensitive gums. Sharp, crisp fragments can irritate the mouth and throat, causing cuts or abrasions that you might not notice until later. What should be a simple snack becomes a potential source of discomfort and dental damage. The ridge design promises flavor. What it delivers is a sodium bomb with a side of additives. Coming in at number 7, Tyrrell's wraps itself in countryside charm. The packaging features pastoral scenes, references to the Herefordshire farm where it all supposedly began. You feel like you are buying something wholesome, something rooted in British soil. But the quaint branding hides some uncomfortable truths. Like kettle chips, Tyrrell's uses the hand-cooked method. This means longer frying times, higher acrylamide formation, and that same carcinogenic concern. The darker, more browned crisps in it. The bag, the ones many people actually prefer for their extra crunch, are the worst offenders. I spoke with a retired food scientist who told me that darker kettle-cooked crisps can contain up to 3 times more acrylamide than their golden counterparts in the same bag. You're essentially playing Russian roulette with every handful. But there is another issue specific to Tyrrell's. Several of their flavors contain milk derivatives, even when you would not expect them. Tyrrell's mature cheddar and chive is obvious, but even some of their vegetable crisps contain hidden dairy. For seniors who have developed lactose sensitivity later in life, and this is more common than people realize, the resulting digestive upset can be blamed on something else entirely. You might be suffering for days without connecting it to your crisp habit. The cramping, the bloating, the uncomfortable nights all trace back to a snack you thought was harmless. The brand was also acquired by a larger corporation several years ago. Ownership changed, production scaled up, and some long-time customers have complained that quality has declined. The small batch promise no longer holds true when you are producing millions of packets for supermarket chains nationwide. The farm on the packet is more heritage marketing than current reality. Do you ever wonder why the foods marketed as premium are often no healthier than the budget versions? Number 6. Sensations. Walker's. Sensations is positioned as the grown-up crisp. The flavors are more sophisticated. Thai sweet chili, roasted chicken and thyme, lime and coriander. The packaging is darker, sleeker. You are meant to feel like you are making a refined choice. But sophistication does not mean safety. Those complex flavors require complex ingredient lists. Sensations Thai Sweet Chili contains over 20 distinct ingredients, including multiple forms of sugar, dried glucose syrup, and paprika extract. The flavor profile is achieved through layering, and each layer adds another processed component to the mix. What seems like a simple crisp is actually a chemistry experiment designed in a laboratory to hit precise flavor targets. Sugar content is particularly concerning. 100 grams of Sensations Thai Sweet Chili contains 8.9 grams of sugar. That is higher than many sweet biscuits. For seniors managing diabetes or pre-diabetic conditions, this hidden sugar can cause blood glucose spikes that seem to come from nowhere. You are eating crisps, not sweets, so you do not think to check. That assumption can be dangerous. Diabetes UK reports that nearly 5 million people in the UK now live with diabetes, and hidden sugars in savoury foods are a significant contributor to blood sugar management problems. Your glucose monitor spikes and you cannot figure out why. Then there is the portion size psychology. Sensations are often sold in sharing bags, but the flavours are so moreish that many people consume half a bag, or more, in one sitting. What was meant to be shared between several people becomes a single-serving indulgence with multiplied health consequences. The entire bag can disappear during one film, and with it goes any pretense of moderation. The premium positioning is a marketing illusion. You are paying extra for flavouring complexity, not nutritional quality. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free, and it means you will never miss these exposés. At number 5, Monster Munch. Monster Munch has been a British favourite since 1977. The claw-shaped puffs, the bold flavours, the playful branding. Many seniors ate these as young adults and continue buying them out of nostalgia, but the recipe has changed over the decades, and not for the better. Modern Monster Munch is made from maize, which is puffed and then coated in flavouring. The texture is light, almost dissolving on the tongue. This might seem harmless, but the light texture actually encourages faster eating. Your brain does not register fullness the same way it would with denser food. You can consume an entire bag before your stomach has time to signal that you have had enough. The crisps practically evaporate in your mouth, tricking your body into thinking you have eaten less than you actually have. The pickled onion flavor, the most popular variety, contains citric acid, sodium acetate, and multiple flavor enhancers. Citric acid can exacerbate acid reflux, a condition that becomes more common with age as the muscles controlling the esophageal sphincter weaken. That burning sensation after eating might not be heartburn from something else. It might be Monster Munch. The NHS estimates that 1 in 5 people experience reflux symptoms weekly, with rates significantly higher among over 60s. You might be reaching for the antacids when you should be putting down the crisp packet. Salt content is also significant. A standard bag contains 0.52 grams of salt, combined with the other flavorings. This creates a snack that hits multiple sensory triggers simultaneously. Sour, salty, umami. Your brain is overwhelmed, your hand keeps reaching into the bag, and your sodium intake climbs without you noticing. By the time the bag is empty, the damage is done. The nostalgic packaging promises childhood joy. What it delivers is a processed puff, engineered for overconsumption. Number 4. Squares Walkers. Squares takes a simple concept, squares instead of traditional crisp shapes, and builds an entire brand around it. The squares are meant to feel fun and different, but different shape does not mean different health profile. Squares are particularly high in sodium. The salt and vinegar variety contains 1.8 grams of salt per 100 grams. That is one of the highest levels in the entire crisp market. A full bag can deliver nearly half your daily sodium allowance in one sitting. For seniors on diuretics or blood pressure medication, this level of salt intake can counteract the medication's effects entirely. You might be taking tablets every day while your snack habit undoes all the work. Your GP increases your dosage, not knowing that crisps are sabotaging the treatment. The square's shape also presents a unique problem. The flat, angular edges can be sharper than curved crisps. Seniors with dentures or sensitive gums may find the texture uncomfortable or even painful. The rigid corners can poke into soft tissue, causing irritation that lingers long after the snack is finished. What should be a pleasant snack becomes an ordeal that you dread. And like other Walker's products, squares have quietly shrunk over the years. The portion sizes are smaller, the packets feel emptier, but the prices have increased. You are getting less product for more money while still taking on the same sodium risks. The promise of value has been hollowed out. The shape is a gimmick. The health risks are real. What is the worst crisp you have ever opened? Drop it in the comments below. Coming in at number 3, hula hoops. Those distinctive ring shapes have been a British staple for decades. Children love putting them on their fingers. Adults love the satisfying crunch. But hula hoops carry risks that most people never consider. The ring shape is created by extruding a potato-based dough, then frying the result. This processing method fundamentally changes the potato's structure. What you are eating bears little resemblance to an actual potato. The extrusion process creates a puffed texture that is easy to eat quickly, too quickly. A standard bag disappears in minutes, sometimes before you even realize how much you have consumed. Salt levels vary by flavor, but even the original variety contains enough sodium to concern anyone monitoring their intake. The beef flavor adds complexity with additional flavorings, yeast extract, and color additives. These additives have been linked to hyperactivity in children, but their effects on older adults are less studied. What we do know is that processed additives place additional strain on the liver and kidneys, organs that become less efficient with age. Every heavily processed snack adds another burden to systems already working harder than they used to. Then there is the marketing. Hula hoops positions itself as a lighter snack, lower in fat than traditional crisps. This is technically true, but deeply misleading. Lower fat does not mean lower health risk. The sodium content, the processing, the additives, these matter as much or more than fat grams alone. Seniors trying to make healthier choices can easily be fooled by this partial truth. The packaging highlights what is good while hiding what is harmful. Why do you think the FSA lets brands use misleading health claims that hide the real risks? At number 2, Pop Chips. Pop Chips markets itself as the healthier, crisp alternative. The packaging emphasizes that they are popped, not fried. Lower fat, lower calories, guilt-free snacking. For health-conscious seniors, this positioning is incredibly appealing, but the reality does not match the promise. Yes, Pop Chips contain less fat than traditional fried crisps. But fat is not the only nutrient that matters. The sodium content in Pop Chips is comparable to many fried alternatives. A serving of Pop Chips barbecue flavor contains 0.38 grams of salt. That is not dramatically lower than standard crisps. The health halo effect makes you feel virtuous while the sodium quietly accumulates. You think you're making a better choice, but your blood pressure tells a different story. The popping process also creates its own concerns. Like kettle cooking, high heat processing of starches produces acrylamide. The levels may be lower than in some fried products, but they are not zero. Every exposure adds to lifetime cumulative risk. Cancer Research UK notes that while the exact relationship between dietary acrylamide and cancer risk is still being studied, reducing exposure where? Possible is prudent. The so-called healthier option still carries hidden dangers. Then there is the ingredient list. Pop chips contain rice flour, potato starch, and various flavorings depending on variety. The processing required to achieve that light, melt-in-your-mouth texture removes much of the nutritional value that whole potatoes or rice would provide. You are eating highly processed starch with added flavorings, not a health food. The nutrients have been stripped away and replaced with nothing of value. The marketing promises guilt-free snacking. What it delivers is a processed product with a better publicity department. And at number 1, Pom Bear. Pom Bear is marketed primarily to children. The bear-shaped crisps are cute, the flavors are mild, and the packaging features cartoon characters. But here is what many people do not realize. Adults, including seniors, eat Pom Bear too. Grandparents buy them for grandchildren and snack on them themselves. The childlike branding masks what is actually in the bag. Pom Bear crisps are made from dehydrated potato flakes, reformed and fried. This is one of the most processed ways to create a crisp. The potato is essentially reduced to powder, then rebuilt into a shape. The resulting product has a glycemic index higher than many sweets. For seniors managing blood sugar, Pom Bear can cause rapid glucose spikes, followed by energy crashes. You feel hungry again an hour later, reaching for more food to stabilize blood sugar that Pom Bear destabilized in the first place. The salt content, while not the highest on this list, is still significant. A standard bag contains 0.34 grams of salt. For children, this is a meaningful portion of their lower daily allowance. For seniors sharing the snack, it adds to whatever else they have consumed that day. The cumulative effect is what catches people out. And there is something deeply troubling about the way Pom Bear is marketed. The childlike packaging makes it seem innocent, harmless, just a bit of fun. But the product is engineered for palatability and repeat consumption, just like adult snacks. Seniors who dismiss it as just kid food may not be scrutinizing the ingredient list the way they would with a product aimed at them. The cute bear on the packet is doing the heavy lifting, distracting you from what is actually inside. The bear shape is designed to disarm. The health risks are very real. Ever noticed how these brands keep reformulating but never actually getting healthier? Most people never learn which crisps are actually safe to eat. The crisp aisle is a minefield of misleading labels, hidden sodium, and processed ingredients. But there is a way through. The solution is coming. Stick around. Stay until the very end. Safe pick number 1, proper corn popcorn. This might surprise you. It is not a traditional crisp at all, but proper corn offers the salty, crunchy satisfaction of crisps without the processed dangers, made from whole corn kernels that you gut. Are air-popped, then lightly seasoned, proper corn contains a fraction of the sodium found in traditional crisps. The lightly salted variety has just 0.01 grams of salt per serving. Compare that to any crisp on our avoid list, and the difference is staggering. Whole corn provides fiber that processed crisps lack entirely. Fiber supports digestive health, helps regulate blood sugar, and promotes satiety so you eat less overall. For seniors managing weight, diabetes, or digestive issues, this is a meaningful difference. You feel fuller, faster, and stay satisfied longer. The ingredient list is refreshingly short. Corn, oil, salt, no flavor enhancers, no hidden sugars, no unpronounceable additives. What you see on the packet is what you actually get. No chemistry degree required to understand what you are eating. Proper corn is widely available in supermarkets across the UK. And often costs less than premium crisp brands. You can satisfy the crunch craving without the sodium spike, the additive load, or the processed potato concerns. It is proof that healthier snacking does not have to mean giving up flavor or satisfaction. Safe pick number 2. Emily Veg Crisps. If you want something closer to a traditional crisp experience, Emily Veg Crisps offer a genuinely better alternative. Made from real vegetables, beetroot, parsnip, sweet potato, these crisps provide nutrients that processed potato crisps cannot match. The beetroot variety contains natural nitrates that support healthy blood pressure. Sweet potato offers beta-carotene for eye health. Parsnip provides potassium that helps counteract sodium's effects. You are getting actual nutritional benefits alongside the crunch. These are not empty calories, they are food that works for your body, not against it. Salt levels are lower than most mainstream brands. A 30-gram serving contains just 0.3 grams of salt, and the natural vegetable flavors mean less seasoning is needed. The colors come from the vegetables themselves, not artificial additives. You can see exactly what you are eating. Emily Veg Crisps are cooked in small batches with minimal processing. The vegetables are sliced, cooked, and seasoned. That is it. No extrusion, no reforming, no powdered reconstructions. What you are eating is recognizably food, not a food-like product engineered in a laboratory. For seniors who want the crisp experience without the crisp risks, Emily Veg Crisps deliver genuine quality. They prove that you do not have to sacrifice taste to protect your health. Now you know the truth. Subscribe now so you never get blindsided again.